Welcome back to Conscious Creators. We had a little cutout there, but this is part two, so we're going to continue on from
Yes.
here. I
And
think
you
we,
were talking about how you talk to yourself and how you soothe yourself.
yes, I just find it makes all the difference when you actually welcome it and you show love to it and you talk to it, because you want to let your body know that you're there for it, that you trust it, and you're there to support it, and that that it can come to you anytime. So any messages that the body wants to send, whatever pain there is, whatever discomfort there is, it's all welcome because it's a message to us to pay attention to it, to see something deeper there that it's trying to tell us. Maybe it just wants some attention. Maybe it just wants some love. Maybe it's trying to wake us up to maybe how we're living our lives. Maybe we need to relax a little more, or maybe there's something that we're suppressing. Maybe there's an emotion or a childhood memory or something that was pushed away and that we never actually took a look at it and had some space for it to let it process and let the energy flow through. It seems to me like when you notice the emotions, sometimes they just want to be noticed and held and looked at. And then once you do that, then they kind of just take care of themselves and pass through. But when we push them away, I notice is when it sits in the body and causes, it's like the energy wants to move and it's causing the pain and the discomfort because it wants to be seen, it wants to be loved. And once we do that, it kind of naturally passes through. That's been my experience with the different health things that have come up in my life.
Yeah, I find it interesting too because with effortless being and just sitting with it and letting it dissipate
Mhm.
and making peace with it and seeing it as information.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wonder, how does the law of attraction, because you're not supposed to focus on unwanted. So I was trying to figure out, okay, if that's the case, but then I remember Abraham saying that you make peace, right?
Yes.
And that's
Make
the
peace
same
with it.
thing,
Yes.
making peace with it, but not dwelling on it. For
Correct.
instance, I was around everybody on Halloween and they were all coughing and hacking and sick. And I was around it like for like a whole day. And I was like, okay, I don't need to pay attention to that. I don't need to make it my experience, because if I focus on it, I'll probably draw it in.
Yep.
And so when I did that, I did kind of feel like, oh, I feel a little bit something in my throat. And so what and in the past, when I was new to creation, this deliberate creation, I would actually feel mad at myself and felt like I was a bad creator when I would get
Oh,
sick. And now I'm realizing, no,
no, not
we
be
are
hard on yourself.
humans and we are living this full life and we have a lot of contrasting experiences and challenges.
Contrast
And
is
we're not
okay.
going to catch
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
thought. Yeah, we're not going to catch
Yeah.
every negative thing. And sometimes we might be hanging on longer than we even realize. And you get sick. So what? Right?
Not
You
the end of
just
the world. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that that's step five, or is it step four with the Abraham process where you aren't mad at yourself because you're experiencing
In
contrast?
contrast. Yes.
And
You're right.
that one took a long time for me to do because
I think most people have
you know,
that one.
I
Yeah.
know. So I would be embarrassed if I got sick. And you would see Esther, she even has a little cold voice sometimes when
Of
she's
course she
channeling.
does. Yeah.
So, I think and when you were saying be kind to yourself, it's also be kind to yourself if you don't catch it and it manifests into a cold or
Yeah, that's
even
okay.
something
You
big.
didn't
I
fail. It's
love
not
it
a
when I
failure.
listen to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't you love it when Abraham, somebody will say, oh, I was diagnosed that I have 2 weeks. They go, good. And you're like, what? Because they know that if we focus properly, it'll go away. It's just a temporary indicator that we're off and that we need to focus in a different way.
Yeah. You just got
And
to
that's
change the
hard to
focus.
swallow with
And
a big diagnosis.
yeah, and because really that what that shows, what you just said, is really the power of our attention as conscious creators. One of
Mhm.
our biggest powers that we have is our attention, what we give our
Yes.
attention to. Just like I was saying before, the observer effect with our consciousness, what we
Uh-huh.
focus on. If we're focusing on sickness, well, then that's what we're inviting into our life experience. But if we're focusing on health, that's what our life experience is going to be. It really is that. I mean, it sounds so simple as I'm saying it, but really that's what it is. If you could just consciously just focus on what you want And in this case, health, health, seeing the health and,
Yeah.
and trusting your body
Well,
that it can take care of itself, that you can cure yourself through your body. Like really, if you really believe that and you believe that the body can take care of itself and that you're there for it, there's nothing you can't be, do, or have. And that includes health. So the power of our attention, what we're focusing on as conscious creators is key. We really need to be aware of that.
yeah, and I think you're not going to believe it straight out of the box just because you want to.
Hmm.
So I think playing with it, like for instance, I like playing with it a lot. Like
Yeah.
when I felt the sore throat, I thought, okay, I'm feeling a little sore throat. Let's see. And in the past, I would sit with it. I'd stay home, cancel Pilates, cancel my workouts, and I'd stay in bed nursing it, and it would get bigger and it
Yeah,
would
because you're
get
focusing
bigger
on it. Yeah.
because I was focusing on it. So now I'm like you said, I want to make peace with it,
Yeah.
acknowledge it, make it okay if I do have that I do have this. And then what I do is I try to focus on the well part of my bodies, and I try to
Yes.
focus on things that I'm excited about, and I try to focus on because you can't not pay attention to it. You can just focus elsewhere.
Yeah.
So even if there's pain, you can go, oh, help's on its way, my
Yeah.
sore throat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just turn that around from a, oh, it hurts so bad. Oh, I'm so sick, to help is on its way. So I think that the way you come to really believe in your health and really knowing you have creative control is by playing with these little things like a
Mhm.
cold or a sore throat or you, you sprain an ankle or whatever it may be. And I'm just, because I've had experience with that CO poison thing, and I had two slip disc in my back because I was trying to get buns of steel at the gym, and I just kept pushing because I was all trying too hard. And I actually was able to heal it through yoga. They wanted to operate and do surgery,
That's great. Fantastic.
and I got wind of this new way of thinking with quantum physics, and I thought, okay, let me play
Mm,
with this and see if that my body will. But I took baby steps, and there's nothing wrong with going if you feel like you need to go get surgery or you
of
that's the
course. Yeah.
path. So there's no right or wrong. I love that we can do both. That, if I do get out of alignment and I get hit by a car or get in an accident, I'm glad there are emergency, hospitals and stuff that can patch me up because I'm not
Definitely.
going to
Very
go
thankful
meditate
for
on a
that.
rock.
Yeah. We're
Exactly.
thankful that when
But
we get out of alignment, they're there to
yeah,
support
yeah.
us. They can work
So
with
this
us.
Yeah, and so I think this creation business is really incorporating the effortless being in the sense of making peace with where you are and being
Mhm.
kind to yourself and loving yourself. And what I think is beautiful is that you can actually use your thoughts and your mind to soothe yourself, which
Mhm.
is self-love, and then seeing how the body responds. And by the way, that cold that I was around all those people, I just got a sore throat. And because I refocused myself and I
Mhm.
did the self care where I gargled with salt water and I trusted my body, what it was hungry for, and I
Trusting
ate
your
more
body. Yep.
healthier options, and it went away and it
See?
was awesome. So, again, if the more you play with this, the more you come to believe it. So it's
Yes.
not like you're not going to just tell yourself, oh, I'm healthy. Because you remember I told you, I think in another video, a woman was very curious because I'm very healthy. And whenever I go to the doctor, I don't really go to doctors, but before when I did, they like the dentist, that's where I would go. And they would always be shocked that, oh, at your age, you should have all these things. Oh my gosh. It's
Hmm.
actually should be the other way around, in my opinion. But she wanted to know what I was doing. So I shared the Abraham material with
Great.
her. And but she again didn't understand it, and so she went from A to Z and she stopped taking her insulin.
Uh-oh.
And she was okay, she figured it out, but that was a hard way of learning about it.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you're learning this material in your beginning, take baby steps. There's no need to
Yeah.
do
Baby
quantum
steps.
leaps. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it just practice, and just like you always say, be practical about it.
You gotta
you
be
know
balanced. You gotta be balanced.
yeah. And if you're new to this and you've got a diagnosis and your gut is telling you, hey, I've got cancer, I'm going to do chemo, then you do chemo. If you're
Yeah.
feeling, a different path, more natural stuff seems to resonate with you more from the East, then do that. So that's the disclaimer we need to really put in these health
Yes.
issues.
Yeah, listen to you.
I
It's up
think a
to
lot of
you.
people
It's your I don't
misunderstand.
want to make any decisions for anybody else.
Yeah,
It's everybody's
exactly.
personal experience. You're having your own direct experience and everyone has their own
Yes.
intuition too. So we're all empowered with
Mhm.
our intuition to follow that inner knowing. If it feels expansive, follow that. But if you're feeling contracted or uneasy, then that's not the way. So it should be a feeling of ease when you're doing it. It shouldn't feel so contracted, when you're making these decisions for yourself.
Yeah, and also I think reframing when we do unwanted illnesses, it's not an indictment of our character. Usually, I have heard so many people in the hot seat say it's the best thing that ever happened to them
Mhm.
because they learned to focus because it was important.
I agree with
So,
that because when I had the cancer, looking back now, it really did help me focus. Prior to that, I
mhm.
was all over the place. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in my life. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in my body. I wasn't listening to the emotions that were coming. I was suppressing them, blocking them out, and then after that, I was forced almost, so to speak, to sit there and say, okay, well, now I have to focus. Like, what's going on? Let me pay attention to my body. Let me pay attention to my thoughts. And then I would just, like you said, redirect the thoughts to be more positive, to look for the good in life and appreciate everything. Prior to that, I wasn't appreciating everything that I had. There's so much that even when we're going through an illness, it's almost like it wakes up, look at all the healthy things that were going on. We have an abundance of
Exactly.
air. I could walk around. There's
And
lovely
most of your body
people
is
around.
working too, right?
Nature's beautiful, and the rest of my body's doing great. Look how complex. I don't
No.
have to think about the heartbeat. I don't have to think about the blood flow, the cells.
Uh-huh.
It's like it's incredible what this body can do. It's
It
it's
is, isn't
amazing.
it?
It's an amazing body with that.
It is amazing. You
And we just got
know,
to show it love sometimes.
and I
Yeah.
think exactly. And I think the shortcut is really, the shortcut to me is remembering who you really are through the effortless being. And
Yeah.
if you are really knowing who you really are, you're going to be in a relaxed state to where a lot of this becomes a non-issue,
Yeah, it really
you
does.
know?
Because think about it, if you know what you
But
truly are,
we,
that you're effortless being, that it takes no effort just to be, and that you're whole and complete already. If you really like, if you have that inner conviction, you really know that in your heart. Think about how your body feels. Your nervous system relaxes. It's relaxed. It
yes,
feels
the
safe.
parasympathetic
Yeah,
nervous
it feels
system really.
safe and it sees the world as loving and helpful and joyful and appreciation. So when you have that, that directly affects your health for sure.
Exactly. But we're getting in the nitty gritty sometimes in this creation business, and sometimes we
Yeah.
go a little too fast, and
Yeah.
sometimes we go too slow and we get frustrated because we're
Okay.
human,
Yeah.
So that's where making peace and embracing, contrast and getting back into flow. So it all works beautifully together, doesn't it? It
It
really does.
works beautifully.
I did want to say though, a lot of people make exercise and food so important, and they think that's all
Mm,
there is when they're in the character.
hmm.
And it's really interesting because there could be people that eat very healthy and they can exercise, but they still get illnesses, some big
Yep.
illnesses.
I'm sure all of us know somebody in our friends or family where that's happened. So it's not always just about just the exercise and just the
Yeah,
food. There's more to this. Is then that's like we're trying to make people more aware. There's other sides to it, like your spirituality, how you see yourself, your
yeah,
thoughts, what you're thinking about. What are you thinking about most of the time? What's your vibrational set point? What kind of vibration are you presenting to the universe? Where are
when
you?
you bring up
Go ahead.
yeah, when you bring up the vibration,
Yeah.
what you're saying there is you think about that, that is a prevention. If you're in a good vibration, accidents
Yes.
aren't going to happen.
It's true.
That's another
So
factor of
true.
health.
I mean, really, I mean, if you could just, pay attention to how you feel, stay in a real high vibration, a lot of these illnesses can't even come into that space of yours if because that's where you're emanating, if that's your vibrational set point. A lot of this too, when we talk about conscious creation, is vibration and frequencies. So it really is a
Yes,
frequency vibration game that we're playing here. So if we're aware of that, let's play the game. Like we know what the rules are. So why not focus on feeling good? Why not focus on having positive thoughts, being a state of appreciation? What kind of state are we mostly in? Are we designing our days where it's more relaxed and easeful, or are we stressing ourselves out and getting overwhelmed? Like, what are we doing here? It's not worth it. The stress and the anxiety is not worth it. You're better off designing the day to be more relaxed and more joyful because it's going to affect your health and everything else. How many people do we know that sometimes they just chase money and they work like three jobs, they're working hard, and the more they work, then they never really even get the money. If they do get the money,
Yeah,
then their health is sacrificed. Is that really worth it?
exactly.
You
Nope,
know?
it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it's a really interesting dance when you think about it with the whole vibration thing. A lot of people now, some doctors are getting it though, which
Great.
is really cool. They're getting to the point where they're looking for the vibrational root.
Yeah.
Like, what are your thought process that is creating the illness? Because you can put a band-aid on it, you can get surgery, but then it's just going to pop out in another way.
Yeah.
And I find that very fascinating because you're like, oh, it's interesting. You would think that we would be more, instead of putting a band-aid on something, we get to the root of it. And you did that. You were just mentioning with your cancer experience, right?
Yes. Yeah, because my doctor was more like into vibrational therapy, which was kind of new back then, and
Pretty
it's starting to
leading
get
edge.
it's still kind of leading edge even now. Like I thought it would take
Mhm.
off a little more than it has, but
Yeah.
that's really where it's going. Like they're going to be vibrational therapists out there, that'll be able to help people with their vibration, and then of course how you see yourself, right? Thinking about how you see, knowing what you truly are. All those things play into it. Vibration, knowing what you are, effortless being, all of that is tying into your health. And people are starting to see that now, that it is a vibrational world that we're living in, and it's a vibrational game. And I would love to see more therapists, get more into talking about the vibration, how that impacts your life experience.
Yeah. Yeah. It's more accepted now than before, but it's still not
Yeah.
the norm.
Well, what's really cool is like I go on a lot of these Abraham cruises and stuff. I'm seeing more and more people, like even talking to a lot of them are therapists that are on there, and a lot of them are
I
saying, "Yeah,
know. It's exciting.
they include a lot of that in their therapy." Like
Exciting.
you
I
might be going to
know.
a therapist and not even know it, but if they might not even come out and say the word vibration, but although he's getting more and more accepted, they may talk to you more about your feelings and stuff like that. Like, how are you feeling? How are you thinking about this? They might say that, to try to get the vibrational, healing from it. But to make it more, and that people can understand it, is because everyone understands feelings and emotions.
It's
So
layperson's terms. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Because you don't
but
need all the woo-woo
yeah, we
verbiage.
don't need all the woo woo, but the science, but like you said, like even science is catching up with it.
They are. It's
So
really exciting right now because a lot of people have been duped with a lot of, because to be fair, there's a lot of people that try to sell
the woo
people
woo
things
stuff,
that
yeah,
or yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but when you have science backing it up, it gets pretty exciting
Yeah,
because
especially
these
with
people
quantum physics, like you said, quantum physics is
yeah.
so leading edge right now, and the stuff they're finding out is like incredible. You think of people like Joe Dispenza and a lot of them that do a lot of this kind of work, and they have testimonials and
Hmm.
healing people like through vibration, through thoughts, and there's it's starting to get bigger and bigger. That we're seeing it on the Abraham cruises, we're seeing it with Joe Dispenza, we're seeing it with quantum physics, and we're seeing it in our own lives, in our direct experience. So direct experience is great. So
Exactly.
like you said, people playing with it in their direct experience, that's going to mean more weight
Yes,
to
very
anybody than
important
anything
than
anyone
just
else is
talking about it.
saying. So try it out. I mean, why not?
Well, I also want to discuss a little bit about when you have a loved one that's sick. That's a
Mm,
big one because you love them so much, and the fear can come in, and you can actually make it bigger.
yes.
Where in a side that you don't want to be, and you're not doing it on purpose. I
Hmm.
had a family member that was ill, and it was scary, for a bit because I was looking at what is, and I thought, oh my gosh, okay, how can I focus in a way that could be beneficial for this person? What can I do? And I really listened a lot of techniques from Abraham that I listened to, I tried applying. And it was rough in the beginning, but I just kept practicing seeing this person as whole and complete, like you do with effortless being.
Yes, it
And
works.
and when I would look at this person and I saw some diminishment, I'd look the other way and just try to walk away and think about something else. But when I was in a good space and I caught this person in a good place, I would really amplify it. And I would, even in the privacy of my own mind, write out things to focus in that way, because it was very important that I wanted to be, we can't create in other people's experience, but we can be a positive influence. And I'll tell you, seeing if you're the only one, they just, it helps to, it's like this. If you go to a doctor and they see, and they diagnose you and they go, oh my God, you're going to think, oh my gosh, something's really wrong with me. Rather than if they go, oh, this is no big deal. You
Yeah.
just, there's,
Makes all the difference. Yeah.
yeah, it does. Even a therapist, if they
Yeah.
look at you as super broken,
Yeah,
oh
if they could just be more like, yeah, that's why I think it's
my
important
God.
for therapists and doctors to look, they should be looking at people in health, look at them as whole, complete, that they're okay, and then
As
it's just
them
that they're
well.
believing something, they're off a little bit, but it's okay. But because what they really are is whole and complete. And they just kind of got lost in some loops in their vibration and their thoughts. And that's easy to clean up
Yeah.
because the way creation works is a lot of people, if you're just looking at what is, that's the finished product. You want to go before that. Before that, it starts with the thoughts,
Exactly.
your vibrational set point, your vibration, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, what you're dwelling on, how you see yourself. Like there's dynamics that happen before that even occurs. This is already over and done with.
The
Why
what
look at
is
that?
past tense,
Why look at that?
right?
Look
This
at
is
what's
past
happening before it.
tense.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that that's what's so beautiful about it, is that when you really get this, when you play with it a little bit, you'll never be afraid again, because you know that whatever's happening right now in your now, if you
Can
have
be turned
cancer
around.
or
Yeah.
you have some other illness, that it's temporary, that with your focus, you'll have the confidence because you played with it with colds and other little things.
Yeah.
And
There's
then
nothing you can't turn
you won't
around.
be.
Yeah.
No, no.
Yeah.
And we've heard of stories where people have gotten,
So
like,
many.
oh, you got 2 weeks to live, and then they
Yeah.
die because they believe the doctors.
Yeah, when I had
So
cancer, I didn't know what it was. There was another girl who had this same stage 3B and she died. Like, so, I mean, you just don't,
yeah.
and then I didn't. The only difference between me and her that I saw, from where I was, my doctor was more into visualizing, thinking about your thoughts, talking to your body, comforting your body, seeing yourself as healthy, seeing the good cells in your body, appreciating all the good things that you have. Like, so those things, at least in my direct experience, that's how it was for me. So I can speak pretty confidently from my own direct
It
experience.
feels good to do it anyway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It does feel
Yeah, and
good.
it feels good to do that anyway. You really can't lose. Yeah, yeah. And also this brings up another topic. Some people, they are done living, and they may, like that girl, she may have been done and
Yeah, she might
ready
have
to
been
move
done. That's
on.
okay too. Yeah.
So yeah, 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 yeah. I know a lot of people, this probably sounds really cold and weird if you're taught that death is all, is a tragedy,
No, it's a
but
celebration.
we're all gonna die, and if it won't have to work on a scene
Yes.
as the celebration.
Yes. So true. Yeah, I mean anything that comes up in life we could, look at it differently with a different perspective.
Connected to people, but that's part of the human experience, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
Interesting,
part of the
because
human
when you
experience.
really,
But like
yeah,
you said,
but if you really realize,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you
No,
could
we're
just
cutting
change.
out this video. Kind of.
Yeah. I was just saying like the perception can change everything, even when it comes to death or whatever. If you can change the perception of how you're looking at it and can totally change. And the way you can tell is how it feels in your body when you're thinking about it. Like if you think death is something so fearful and scary and oh my goodness, how does that feel? Don't you feel contracted? Like I know I do. Like if I'm feeling that, I feel fear come up, I feel contracted in my
Yeah.
body. But if I feel like, oh, it's going to be okay, they're going to be on to something else. That's cool. It's just a transition. They're going to be able to, be expansive, so, it's all the way that you're looking at it. So then, oh, that feels good to think about it that way in your body. And so that can make all the
Yeah.
difference in the world, just changing how you look at something, how your perspective is.
It's all about soothing, isn't it, Rob?
Yeah, it is.
All about soothing.
Because you want to be in that
It's
space
so
where
simple.
you feel safe and you feel okay. If you're not feeling safe, then we just need to check our thoughts and say, what are we believing right now? What am I giving my attention to? What beliefs am I buying into? Can I decline some of those
Yeah,
beliefs?
and you're right. When you get that negative hit in your chest or that constriction, you
You
go,
can
oops,
feel it. Yeah.
something's going on.
Like a wake up call. Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
waking you
So,
up, like a guidance system.
um, yes, the guidance system is a pretty incredible thing. I mean, just understanding what the emotions mean is so valuable. And you know
Mhm.
what I love about it is negative emotion means for instance, if somebody is rude to you and they're say something negative about you, you feel bad, right? It's because
Yes.
you innately know you're good. And that's
It's
what's
true.
beautiful about the guidance system is you do know your value. You are of value just because it hurts. And obviously it's the perspective we have on things too, but I find it all very fascinating. It's a whole world to explore. But with
Yeah.
health, do you think we've covered the gamut of things? Do you think there's something that we haven't covered? I know there's so much more to it that we could go on forever, but
Yeah, I
we
think
did the
I think
food,
we
the body.
yeah, well, I think we covered like the spirituality, the emotional side, the physical side. We've talked about observer effect, our consciousness, talked about thoughts, how that affects our health and our beliefs, how that affects our health. And then we even talked about some ways that people can soothe themselves, and think better thoughts and be aware of
Yeah.
this. I think we've really brought a lot of awareness to this and for people to, make friends with their bodies and really believe that the body can heal itself. But at the same time, listen to your doctor, use your intuition, this is to be, do this with your doctor. Why not? You know, do this in conjunction with whatever you're doing.
Well, yeah, with the doctor thing, I think follow your gut. If they're making you
Yeah.
feel bad and you've got a bad feeling in you,
Yeah, then stay
then
away.
maybe
Yeah.
you need to question what they're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah, but you're right. Most doctors are going to be supportive, but yeah, that's exactly it. You have to follow like you said, your own direct experience and go
Yes.
within. Nobody knows what's best for you. That's what I really, really love about this work is
Mhm.
that you are the one that knows you are you. Nobody
Yeah.
knows you better than
You're
you.
here. Yeah.
And how to trust your inner being. Yeah.
Yeah.
And learning
It-
to trust your emotions. All
mhm.
of that is all a part of being healthy in your body, mind, and spirit.
Yeah, I
So
think it's beautiful. We all have that inner being that we can be in touch with and that we can, we have our own inner guidance system. So we don't have to, listen to what other people are telling us. We can take what we want from it and really judge it for ourselves because we all have that inner being and that intuition, that's guiding us and that's doing a beautiful job for people. So just being in touch with that,
it's,
really knowing that we have that and really
I
listening to
just,
that intuition. Listen to that nudge. You'll know. It's like a quiet knowing. Follow that
it's
quiet
a
knowing.
quiet knowing
Hmm.
and the empowerment that comes from it, the freedom of it. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, it just feels so good, doesn't it?
Does. It's a great feeling.
It is. It is.
Health is fun, man.
It's
Like when you're feeling good, like I love just going out playing ball, going to yoga, doing skate
yeah.
class, playing baseball with the guys, throwing the football around with my girls. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun when you're feeling healthy. You can be active, you can be doing things. There's so many fun things to do. These bodies are just so incredible that we
Mhm.
have. And I'm just so thankful, for this human body that allows me to have all these different, really cool human experiences. We're so blessed. All the different foods we can taste, all the beautiful
I
things we
know,
can
isn't it
see, like
amazing?
the
I
dancing and
know.
all of it. These bodies are just
It's
incredible. It's just, I
yeah.
just love it.
I just get more and more amazed by my body when I move through time, and like as a dancer, and just it's it's capable of so much. The
Yeah.
more I play with it, the more I'm like, wow, I'm just fascinated by it. You could, dance and work out 8 hours a day if you wanted to. I mean, if
It's
you have your
incredible.
mind right and your spirit aligned, you can do anything when you're aligned with your inner being. It is amazing. I mean, you could go just on YouTube and see these people doing amazing stunts that I'm like, wow, I'm just amazed with how our bodies it's just genius. And the alignment is what it's all about, isn't it?
It
Aligning it
is.
all.
It's beautiful. Well, I think we covered this pretty good. And if anyone out there is listening, we'll be on the Abraham cruise in the end of March. You can email us if you want more info on that. We'd love to have you with us. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yes.
But I look forward to our next conversation, Tammy. And this was great. I really enjoyed talking about health. It's something that really impacts us having a joyful life.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.